My name is Marianne Moyer, and I've been asked to highlight my efforts to raise community awareness for both myositis and the Myositis Association. So when I first thought about it, I thought, I haven't really done anything to create awareness in the community. But the Southwest Florida Kit, of which I am a member, has done a lot. And so when I thought about it, I came up with, in the 14 years that we've existed, we've done about 20 events. Some have been fundraisers, and some have been awareness raisers. Some have been a combination of the two. But I thought I would highlight today some of those that are highlights of how we have raised awareness. One of the biggest ones for us is that many myositis patients ask the question, why is it that the doctors today don't know enough about myositis? Well, we decided to do something about that. So working with the local medical society, we invited all the doctors in the county to come to a dinner that provided them with continuing education credits and that gave them an opportunity to hear a world-class speaker, one of the speakers from TMA's conferences, that could talk to them about what they need to know to diagnose and treat myositis. We only had about 25 doctors come, but that's 25 more than would have come if we hadn't had the event. Shortly thereafter, we put on another event similar to that for occupational therapists and physical therapists. Because again, we have myositis patients who say, I go to see a physical therapist and all they think about is, how come your muscles won't do what I tell them to do? Well, they need to understand myositis. And so we had occupational and physical therapists from Johns Hopkins University come down and speak to about 65 occupational and physical therapists about what they need to know about myositis and how to treat patients who have it. Myositis Awareness Month has been a big deal for our support group. One of the things we've done is we've had several of our myositis meetings in May where what we've done is call it a bring a friend meeting. So while most of us usually bring our spouse, this time we invited people to bring that friend at church, that neighbor, somebody else, a brother, a sister, who hears you talk about myositis, who hears you talk about Myositis Association, but how much do they really know? So they've come to these events, and we've found that a lot of them have walked away saying, now I get it. So that's been pretty cool for us. And all those meetings, by the way, get put into the local papers. We have one member who is responsible for doing press releases, and so those press releases get sent to all the local newspapers. Sometimes they go in, and sometimes they don't. But when they do, we often find that we get one or two new members that come as a result of having seen it in the newspaper. The newspaper isn't the only media that we've used. I personally have been interviewed twice on local TV. Most of us have heard some of our local TV channels say things like, and now for the health news, and they talk about some disease like, maybe cancer or maybe multiple sclerosis or one of the other diseases that people have heard of. Well, twice in the last 14 years, we have gone on our local TV station to talk about myositis and what the Myositis Association does for myositis patients. We've used celebrities also. So I'm a big Bucks fan because, this year the Tampa Bay Bucks won the Super Bowl. So a number of years ago, on the anniversary of the death of a Buck named Ricky Bell, he had died of dermatomyositis at a very young age. And so on the anniversary of his death, a bunch of us got together, went to Buck Stadium, and while the people were waiting in line to get into the stadium, we walked around with a bucket saying, hey, would you like to contribute in memory of Ricky Bell? And oh, by the way, let me tell you about the disease that he had. We got a lot of people to tell us they did remember him, and they were willing to give us some money. Another celebrity that some people don't know that is myositis associated is Fabio. You know, that big hunk of a guy who does movies and commercials and was on the cover of a lot of romance novels for many years. Well, Fabio is a big supporter of the Myositis Association, and he's a big motorcycle freak. So what we did was had a motorcycle poker run where people were able to buy tickets to travel from a starting point to 5 other restaurants around the county, and they picked up playing cards and then came back to the last location where we had a party. We had some auctions for silent auction items. Fabio was signing autographs, and by the way, yes, he rode along with all of our guys on the local Manatee County, Florida roads. A few years ago, it was important for us to also raise awareness through Mike Krucal, who is the color commentator for the San Francisco Giants. We found out that he has inclusion body myositis, and while he didn't want to make a big deal of it, the Giants did, and so there was this big event at San Francisco Stadium to honor Mike. Well, what we did was go to our local bar that we go to after our meetings, and we said, hey, would you all be willing to let us put his game up on the TVs around the bar? Would you be willing to let us put some myositis awareness posters up? And so we actually had people coming up to us and saying, why are you watching baseball when it's almost football season? And we were able to tell them that it was a myositis awareness event for Mike Krucal in San Diego. We've bought things like we've got these mugs that we have given to all of the speakers that come to our meetings and that give us presentations. They may know about myositis or they may not know that much. But what we've done is provide them with a mug that says, we are helping people with myositis to know that they're not alone. We hope that they use that mug and that they remember their time with our group. Most of the people in our group have shirts like the one I'm wearing. I don't know if you can see it, but we've found a local embroidery shop that puts our KIT support group logo, and we wear them wherever we go. Finally, I want to tell you about one of my favorite things that we did for awareness. And that was we all went around wearing this little teeny tiny pin. And when you look at this pin, it's got a little screen on it, an electronic screen, and in there's a chip that when you press a button, the screen counts, just like, you know, the counter when you're going into an event or something and they want to know 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. Well, this little counter we wore on our shirts during Myositis Awareness Month in May one year. And so we wore it on our shirts and people said, what's that thing and why's it got the number 12 on it? And we'd say, excuse me a minute. We'd push the button and it would go to 13. And they'd say, well, what was that? And we'd say, you're now the 13th person that's asked me about this button. I'm wearing it to raise awareness for myositis. And we're trying to see who in our group can get the most clicks on our win pin button so that we can say that we have raised awareness to that many people. So all in all, I haven't done anything. Our support group has done a great deal because if you're not working within a team, you're not going to get much done. So I thank you